So let's take a look at some of the results we have. So when you have people coming from all over the world and bringing their different customs from their different ethnic origins, you get what we call diversity. So diversity just means that we have people who are all different coming together. So different things all coming together in one place, different people coming together. So because of diversity, we can see different types of clothing. So you might notice when you go out places that people have all different kinds of clothes that they wear. And that can start from their ethnic origins and their customs that they bring to the United States. One example that they mentioned in the in the reading is different kinds of shoes. So you might not have thought of this before, but if you're wearing moccasins, those are super comfortable. Those actually came from Native Americans. And then clogs, a lot of times I wear clogs when I wear my shoes to work. Those actually have their origins in Europe. And then different types of sandals have origins from places like Greece and Rome. So that's pretty interesting that just bringing different people together can make, open up your options for different types of shoes that you have to wear. Now, here's one that is really fun. Since we have people coming from all over the world and bringing the types of food that they ate in different communities, we have a lot of diverse food options in the United States. So I'm just going to mention a few of them, but thank goodness we have people who came over from Italy because they brought the ideas that started pizza, and I love pizza. People who came over from Germany brought the ideas for pretzels. Chocolate is a food from South America. Tacos and tortillas came from Mexico, and coffee is from Africa. So if we didn't have people coming together from all over the world, we might not have some of these awesome different kinds of food. Then we also have lots of different types of music because people have brought their music with them when they've come to the United States. So we start out with when we had enslaved Africans here in our country, they would often do call and answer music as they worked. And that type of music grew into what we now know as jazz. So jazz music started from those kind of made up call and response songs into music that was kind of made up as you go along, which is jazz. Then rock and roll is inspired by African drum beats and then the stringed instruments of the Africans as well, mixed in with European melodies. And rap and hip hop go all the way back to African griots. So think about those griots we learned about from ancient Mali. So the way they told their stories are actually what rap and hip hop music is based on today. That's interesting. Then salsa music, if you've ever heard that before, it's a mix of African and Spanish rhythms to make that music. So we're very lucky that we have a diverse country with people from all over the world to come to live here and bring their customs from their place of ethnic origin to be mixed together to make all kinds of wonderful clothes, food, and music. All right, so let's talk about being a good citizen. So your final project for this unit is going to be to write at least 3 entries in a good citizen journal. So for that, you need to think of at least 3 examples of someone being a good citizen and write about what they did and why that was being a good citizen. So I'm going to give you some kind of examples and ideas of how kids can be good citizens. You don't have to write just about kids, but since you guys are kids, you might be really interested in knowing how you can be a good citizen. You're not 18 yet, you can't vote, you're not driving cars, so you're not following those laws, but there are still things that you can do to be a good citizen and make this a better country to live in. So one of the things that you can do is start off by trying to always do the right thing. So there's lots of times when you have a choice between doing something that's right, doing something that maybe isn't the best idea, Like you can see the picture down here with these little girls. What's that little girl over here doing? Kind of looks like she's cheating, right? But we know that cheating is not the right thing to do. So you wouldn't want to do that if you're going to be a good citizen. So being honest and doing your own work would be part of being a good citizen, right? So we want to make sure that we keep our school, neighborhood, and community clean. So you could be a good citizen by volunteering to do things like picking up litter off the streets. That would be a great idea. You want to make sure you're safe when you're doing that, but picking up litter around your neighborhood or around your community is a good idea. We need to respect others when we are playing and when we're working. So when we're out on the playground, over here we've got somebody who's not being too respectful, stealing that ball from the other kids that were playing with it. We don't want to do that. That's not the right thing to do, right? We're also going to respect rules that we have at home and at school. Right now, you're not at school, so you don't have to worry about those rules, but you do need to think about the rules that your parents have for you at home and make sure you're following those rules. That's part of being a good citizen. And really, the main idea here is that you need to treat others the way you would want them to treat you. So let's talk about 3 really important words that go along with being a good citizen. One of these words is self-discipline. So what does it mean if you have self-discipline? So self-discipline means that you can control your behavior. When you think about babies and toddlers, they're not really able to control their behavior very well. You see them having tantrums and crying. Maybe they throw themselves on the floor and scream and cry. They're not controlling their behavior. They haven't learned how to do that yet because they're really young. But now by the time you're in 3rd grade, you're definitely old enough to think about your behavior, choose the right thing to do, and control your behavior in that way. So if you are playing with your friends and they are not playing the game you want to play, you're not going to throw yourself on the floor and start screaming and crying. You're going to talk it out with them and try to come to a compromise, and you're going to control your behavior with self-discipline. Right? Another word that's important is self-reliance. A good citizen is self-reliant. That means that you are going to do what you need to do without other people having to remind you and get on you and nag you about things. So if you're at school, self-reliance means I'm paying attention to the directions that the teacher gives me. And then when it's time for me to do my work, I start on my work when I'm supposed to, I get it done, and I know what to do because I was paying attention to the directions. That's self-reliance. On the other hand, if you're not being self-reliant, then you don't pay attention to the directions, and then it's time for you to work. You're like, I don't know what to do. What is this? What am I supposed to do? Somebody help me. Okay, that's not being self-reliant. Now remember though, if you truly have a question, you are paying attention and you're doing your best and you have a question, it's okay to ask a good question and get some help there. But when you're self-reliant, you don't depend on somebody else to do it for you. You know that you're going to do the work. You're going to do what needs to be done. At home, do your parents have to constantly remind you to do chores? Or are you remembering the chores and things that you're responsible for and you're doing them yourself? If you're remembering and you're doing them just yourself, then you're being self-reliant. So that's something that some of us could work on. And then my final word I want to share with you is trustworthiness. Trustworthiness means that people feel like they can depend on you. So if you're trustworthy, it means you're going to do what you say you're going to do, that you're going to not talk badly about people behind their backs. You're not going to spread rumors and gossip about other people. You can be dependent on to do the right thing and to do what you say you're going to do. That's trustworthiness. So when you're working on your Good Citizen Journal, you can think about some examples of people having self-discipline, having self-reliance, and showing trustworthiness. That might help you come up with some ideas for being a good citizen that you could put in your Good Citizen Journal. So maybe sometimes when you showed one of those 3 qualities, you could write about in your journal. It's also a good idea if you talk with your parents about what people are doing in your community to help others right now. They might be able to share with you some ideas for writing in your Good Citizen Journal. Like I have seen on the news some examples of people who have been donating food to places that are called food banks. So people who have been having a hard time, especially who have lost their jobs because of the shutdown of places for coronavirus, they are able to go and get food from the food banks. So being a good citizen, if you have food that you can donate, that's a great way to be a good citizen. And that's something that we've done at school as well, because we have times when we've collected canned goods to donate to people who don't have enough food to eat. So we were being good citizens then. There have been times when we have collected money for different things. We had our collection where everybody tried to bring in a dime so that we could adopt an animal. If you remember that, we did with Miss Tufaro. We were being good citizens then because we were donating our money so that we could help take care of an animal and make sure that animal gets fed. That's being a good citizen. Okay, so all of those things are examples that you could be thinking about for your good citizen journal. And I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about government, a little bit about civics, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.